Okay, so again, thank you everyone for coming. We're going to begin tonight's webinar. Excuse me. And first, we're going to open, as we do, we had our virtual mix. So excuse me, my screen is just jumping and you guys can't see that. We've kind of had our virtual mix and mingle, so no need to worry there. So we're going to move forward, and I'm going to happily turn it over to my chair. Romel?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody. Thank you again for joining us for our program this evening. We hope that you are going to enjoy it. Forgive me for my lateness. We was having some technical difficulties with the computer. So I have my phone and my computer going. So, hey, we're going to make it work. But we definitely want to welcome you. I have the great privilege of leading this dynamic group of individuals that make up Impact 8. We are the cohort number 8 of the Next Year program for the 2020 year. And we're excited. We are from all over the country, Texas to New York, and we are doing this program to give our youth a voice, to make sure that they are empowered, to make sure that they are able to make the impact that they need to make on our community, on our world, and even in our democracy when it comes down to voting, because it's not all about the youth, it's about young adults as well. So we want to make sure we do all of those things. We hope that you, again, enjoy the program. And as the cohort leader of this cohort, again, I welcome you. They have done a lot to prepare this for you, so I hope you enjoy. Definitely participate, make your voice known. Don't just sit back and watch. This program is not a spectator sport. We want you to be interactive. So please be interactive and lend your voices. Again, we thank you and we welcome you to our program.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
May we pray? Dear Lord, thank you for your protection this far into the COVID season. We thank you for your continued guidance, your continued patience with us, Lord, your continued grace and your continued mercy upon all of us. We thank you for the encouragement and the strength that you have given us to keep on keeping on. And for those of you who feel like you can't keep going on, Lord, we ask that you give them the courage to keep on. Lord, right now we ask that you protect the students who are on campus and in the classroom. Lay a cover of protection upon them to keep them safe and aware of their surroundings. Lord, we also ask that you go along with the students who are going to school virtually. Help them to do their best even though they are at home, and to help them to not feel alone, and to help their parents, and also with patience, Lord. Lord, make us all wise when we can't see our way through these rough times. And this I ask in your darling son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. And just thank you again, Tyler. And I would just like to highlight, as you see with Tyler's bio, that Tyler Morton is a native of Brownsville, Tennessee, and he is a graduate of Haywood County High School in Brownsville, Tennessee. Currently, he is a junior majoring in sports and leisure management at the University of Memphis. He is a faithful member of the Tabernacle CME Church. He serves as the president of the local NAACP Haywood County Youth Council, as well as the secretary of the Empowered Men of Color, an organization on campus at the University of Memphis. And listening to that prayer that Tyler put forward, I can see exactly why he is who he is. Thank you again, Tyler. So moving forward into the presentation, we just wanted to let you know who we are and the members, branches that we are part of. I'm speaking now, I being Rashida Alston. I am a member of the NAACP Mid-Manhattan branch in New York. We have Clara Annabelle, who is a member of the NAACP Baltimore branch in Baltimore, Maryland. Tia Cole, who is a member of the Arlington branch in Arlington, Texas. Romel, who is a member of the Tri-Cities branch in Dallas, Texas. Sharina Haynes, who is a member of the Goose Creek branch in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Matt Houston, who is with the Dallas branch in Dallas, Texas. Corinne Kurt, who is with the Broome Tioga branch in Binghamton, New York. Paris Lee is a member of the Nashville branch in Nashville, Tennessee. And last but certainly not least, we have Melinda, who is a member of Melinda Rascal, who is a member of the NAACP Brooklyn branch in Brooklyn, New York. Now I'm going to turn back over the program to our chair, Romel.
Awesome, thank you very much. So we definitely want to introduce our MC. That way she can do this part and take over. She's the president over the NAACP branch that's at the University of Texas at Austin. We're excited to have her. And I'm going to butcher your last name. I already know this. So, Kiara, if you could pronounce your last name for us really quickly.
Kabara.
Perfect. Miss Kiara Kabara, we thank you for being here with us to be our MC for this evening. I love when we have an MC because that means I don't have to do much talking. So, Madam Mistress of Ceremony, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Like he said, my name is Kiara Kabara. I am a third-year junior at the University of Texas at Austin. Hook 'em, let's hook 'em horns. I am a pre-law government major with a minor in business. And like he said, I'm currently serving as president as the NAACP chapter. And I am excited so we can get started so I can talk about the agenda today. Okay, so what we're going to be discussing is like the main point of this discussion is to talk about how COVID-19 has impacted our lives. And so like we have done some introductions, and next we will be talking and doing an icebreaker, and we won't be going out into the breakout rooms. We'll just be doing the icebreaker here. And then next up, we'll talk about the strategies and support from our guests, the next steps, and then we're going to end with some thank yous. Now I have the wonderful, wonderful opportunity to introduce some of the support from our team. First, I have Ms. Tawana Phillip. She is a licensed clinical social worker and a co-founder of Positive Solutions Therapy. Tawana has over 9 years of experience working with clients of various age groups from diverse backgrounds. And she applies a holistic approach to working with clients, trained in a variety of treatment models, including trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy to motivation and interviewing, clinical aromatherapy, and the attachment self-regulation and competency trauma framework. Tawana works collaboratively with children, adolescents, adults, and families to identify your strengths and any barriers that is preventing you from creating the positive change you are seeking. Tawana believes in strength-based practice that helps individuals, families live their fullest potential by learning new strategies and techniques to assist them in their everyday life experiences. If Ms. Phillips would like to share a few words with us, this is your opportunity.
Hi, everyone. I'm so thankful to be here. I think that this is a great opportunity to speak with our youth, address the very serious and important issue of mental health within our community. Our youth really need the support at this time. A lot has changed. There is a new normal, so we want to make sure that we are able to empower them with the strategies and coping mechanisms that can help to improve their lives and also support them during this difficult time.
That is amazing. Next up, we have Ms. Gabrielle Dean. She's an experienced mental health therapist who understands the impact that mental health can have on family systems and the community at large. Driven by the desire to see minorities in their communities thrive, she takes pride in providing healing and recovering to youth, adults, couples, and families. As a licensed marriage and family therapist associate, Gabrielle's goals include helping individuals identify new resources to discover their strengths and build the best versions of themselves. In addition to delivering quality counseling services, Gabrielle has been recognized by clients, peers, and colleagues alike her for creative learning experiences and the commitment to reducing the stigma of mental health in today's society. If Ms. Gabrielle Dean would like to speak a few words.
Yes, thank you so much, Kiara. I am super excited to be here working with youth all across the country today. I am looking forward to learning more about you guys, hearing what's going on in your communities, and what we can do to help and how you guys can help yourselves. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful, Gabrielle. And last but not least, we have Miss Tanika Stokes. She's an East Baltimore native who is very passionate about transforming the behavioral and mindset of those of many struggle with self-esteem, depression, trauma, grief, and loss, life issues, and anxieties, just to name a few. Tanika is a graduate of the amazing Johns Hopkins University School of Education in Baltimore, Maryland. She received a Master's of Science degree in Clinical Community Counseling and a Postmaster's certificate in Clinical Mental Health Counseling. She is a Maryland's licensed clinical professional counselor with 9 years of experience, everyone. In addition, Tanika has also volunteered with Roberta's House since 2010. Tanika's goal is to dirty her hands and support clients via psychological therapy as we journey through the process of improving their mental health. If Ms. Tanika Stokes would like to say a few words. Okay. We can move on. Okay, next I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce our volunteer support team.
Oh,
Wait.
do you want me to still speak?
Oh, yes, please. I'm sorry.
I had my mic muted. Sorry, I didn't know.
No.
But hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Tanika Stokes, and I'm just here really to lend support to our youth today who have to adjust to a new normal, just like Ms. Phillips said earlier. And, this feeling of isolating oneself from their friends and support system because of what's going on in the world with the pandemic. So I am here to offer whatever is necessary to aid our youth and reminding them that they are not alone as we go through this pandemic together. Thank you.
Beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you, Ms. Stokes. Next, I have the opportunity of introducing our support team. First, we have Miss Felicia. She's a native Jacksonville, Florida, brings over 20 years of healthcare experience to her role as a senior vice president and group operating officer with SCP Health. Miss Felicia leads CSP Health's robust emergency medicine, hospital medicine, and critical care medicine practice management and services for the hospital and health systems in her region. She maintains oversight and overall accountability for her clients' clinical performances, quality care, and operational excellence and financial stability. A graduate of Nova Southeastern University, Ms. Felicia holds a Master's of Business Administration's degree with a concentration in management. She earned a Bachelor of Health Administration degree from the University of North Florida. If you would like to give a few words.
Hey, Kiara, I don't believe, this is Matt Heath, I don't believe Felicia made it on yet. So let's go to
Okay. Okay, next up we have Dr. Hodge. Y'all, I'm about to go off script a little bit because me and Dr. Hodge, we have a wonderful relationship. She was the president of Emma J. Conrad's alumni program, and I was the vice president for this cohort. So we have been working closely ever since the summer, and I love her. She's amazing. So back to the program. Dr. Hodge hails from Dallas, Texas. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management from Prairie View PV A&M University and Masters of Educational Leadership degree from Texas A&M Commerce. She entered the doctoral program at Texas A&M Commerce in the Department of Educational Leadership with a focus in higher educational leadership and was awarded the Doctor of Education degree in the fall of 2019 upon her dissertation completion. For over a decade, Ms. Sabrina has served at various levels of educational administration at the Young Men's Leadership Academy and DISD, and is now the campus coordinator at TA Community Partnership Grant Manager. Ms. Sabrina is very passionate about education and has shown a dedication to serving youth in urban communities. Ms. Sabrina's favorite educational quote is "Every kids need a champion" by Rita Pearson. If you would like to give a few words, please.
Yes. Thank you, Kiera. It's good to see you. You're doing great things. So I know I'm a little off script, but I'm very proud of you for what you're doing. And I apologize for not having my camera on. And I always tell my students to make sure you have your camera on. But I am being a caretaker right now for someone who's sick. So I had to run to the store to get them some medication. But during this COVID time and period that we're in, I want you as youth to be encouraged in all of your endeavors. If you are in school right now, and if you are just still persisting through this COVID era or whatever we're going through in this pandemic, you guys are resilient and you have a sense of passion and grit that I want you to continue to look forward. When I say look forward, don't look at what's going on right now. Look at what's beyond right now and think of the goals that you had when you were freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school. And if you're in high school right now, think of all those things that you thought about when you were in middle school. You can persist through this. It's going to take some patience. It's going to take time, but it also takes a focus. So focus on your goal. Don't look at the right now of course, we're in the midst of something that we never thought we would be in, but from an educational standpoint, think about what you can do to make a change. Think about being a leader during this time, and think about striving for the ultimate goal that you wish to reach. And never let anyone tell you that you can't do the pandemic. And I'm so happy to hear that we have licensed professional counselors, because while I'm dealing with students who are in college, there are a lot of things that go on in your mind mentally, but try to think of every day, think of something that you could do for self-care. That way you can focus on your educational endeavors, because those are the most important right now, because you can be the change agent during this pandemic. And people will look back and say, I remember when Kiera led and she was the MC for a special event. Or I remember when John was creating a resource guide for college students to learn how to cope through COVID. So think about what could you do as a college student or as a student or as a youth during this pandemic to educate your community, your family, of ways to persist through this pandemic. And I'll stop there because I'm very passionate about education. And I'm very excited to be here. And I really thank Matt for the opportunity to speak to you. And again, I do hate that I can't have on my camera right now, but as soon as I get to a stopping point, I will. But that's my spiel to you. Think about what I can do right now. Everything may look like it's going bad, but God does everything for a reason. And you can make good out of this situation that may not look so good right now. Thank you, Kiera.
No, thank you. I hope everyone see why I love Dr. Hodge so much. Okay, so last but not least, we have Kennedy Houston. She is currently a student at the University of Texas at Austin, and then she is a Dell Scholar in the Moody College of Communications, majoring in political communications. She is also a graduate of the Judge Barefoot Sanders Law Magnet at Townview Center in the DISD district. Kennedy is a member of Phi Theta Kappa College Honor Society, and Kennedy has also served as the press and publicity chair and assistant treasurer of the Dallas NAACP Youth Council, as well as the president of the Townview LULAC, District 3 Youth Director for Women in Chaplain. Kennedy works with nonprofit organizations such as the Gym Camp Girl Scouts in Northeast Texas and Azar Foundation to promote STEM education for urban youth. And she loves traveling abroad for photography, writing blogs, and serving in her church ministry. Kennedy, if you would like to give us your words.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here today. I'm so thankful that we have this space to kind of talk. And thank you for the lovely introduction, Kiara. As she told you guys, I'm a political communications student at UT right now. But on this journey, I would have to say that being a part of NAACP and LULAC has really made me aware of being a part of civic engagement and really like letting our youth voices be heard. And so that is a really core tenet of everything I do. And so I'm really grateful to be here. I also love traveling and cultural education. So I've dedicated a lot of my time earning my gold award to serve my community. So thank you again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you, Kennedy. Next, we have the breakout rooms, and we're about to transition into our conversations. And this is where you will be share everyone about the topics that we have here listed. If everyone can just, talk about their life impacted around COVID and their introductions. And then we will also send out these questions in the group chat so everybody can know how discussion will go. Okay. Perfect. And now I'm about to pass it to Mr. Houston.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Houston. I am here in Dallas, Texas. I'm a part of the Dallas branch of the NAACP. I also serve as an entrepreneur here. I'm having a consulting firm, and I'm a professor of entrepreneurship and leadership at the University of North Texas at Dallas. Thank you all for being here. I just want to give some instructions for our breakout rooms. I have separated each breakout room into a group of 5 or 6 people. There should be a mix of adults, professionals, and young people. And so when we go into the breakout room, our breakout room will last until, we'll say 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And I will peep into each room if anyone has any questions. But when you're in your rooms, please start a discussion. Let's first talk about the experiences of this fall semester. This program is Education in a COVID World. Let's have a frank conversation on how you're feeling and things of that nature involving COVID, involving the education system, and involving other things in our society. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to pull me on Zoom chat, but I will break you off into rooms. I will give adults, members of Impact 8 who are in these breakout rooms, you all the point people, professionals who are assigned in these rooms. Your role is support and to provide professional expertise, but both of you are secondary to the young people who are on this who are on this Zoom, so that we can ensure that we're communicating and we're allowing the young people to communicate with us. So we will go into breakout rooms for 30 minutes and see you all soon. I'm opening the rooms right now.
Thank you. If I can have every student who is the designated speaker to just talk to us about what you guys talked about in your discussions room. So if anyone would like to volunteer first, that would be amazing.
Okay, thank you. I'll volunteer first. So in our breakout room, we talked about how the schools were adapting to COVID and how they were distributing electronics to the students in our community in the county, and how they're preparing to open back up the school with COVID still happening, of course, with social distancing and mask and everything. And we also talked about how we can take a break and just detox our minds from sitting at a computer for like 4 or 5 hours, and in different ways that we can help ourselves just not go crazy being in the house for long periods of time, and go outside and still be safe and social distance and everything, and to just not have a bad time. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Mia. That was great. That was really great. If I can have somebody else, another discussion room.
Is it okay if I speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I know based on what I said in my in our breakout room was that I had to realize that although what I'm experiencing is not ideal, I cannot be idle. I still need to involve myself in, organizations. I still need to pursue leadership positions. I still need to try to establish relationships with my professors as well as peers and seek mentorship. Because, what I realized was that what we do now as students determines what kind of leaders we are, because several years down the road, prospective employers and, graduate school admissions counselors are going to see that even within this COVID-19 pandemic era, we still went the extra mile to make sure that we were involved on our campuses, to make sure that we were really making the best out of our circumstances. So I realized that what I do now counts. And so I've been actively trying to join organizations. I've been trying to pursue leadership positions, because at first I didn't want to. I was discouraged because of the situation. I didn't want to participate in anything, but I realized that I have to. So
I agree, Noah. I really do. Like, no matter like the circumstances, we have to keep going. Like, it's okay. It's just a little setback, but we have a comeback coming. If I can have the last group, Kendai, that's my group, the best group, sorry. If I can have Kendai to speak.
During the breakout room, we were speaking about how being at home has affected like a support system. Like at school, you would have friends, you would have people to talk to, you would build a relationship with your teachers. But with like having to go and be at home, you don't really have that. You have to, talk to them online or like schedule a date to meet if you want to. And like some necessary services from the schools aren't going to be accessible to you due to you being at home. Like a school counselor, like you may be able to contact them, but I personally have not been contacted by my school counselor and would not know how to contact them, even though I know that I probably do have one. And COVID has not been entirely bad for everyone. Of course, being at home is not what we would like what we would prefer. We would also like to speak to others, as I said before. But like in school, some things have been removed of stress, like tests. tests, you would get a limited time period to complete it, and that stress is not here anymore due to the time that you have on the assignments now. You can prepare better, you can take the test, and you know the due date now. Everything is made known to you. And COVID has been ups and downs all the time. That's what we talked about.
That was great. Perfect way to end it. So yeah, thank you all for speaking. That was amazing to get you guys like opinion and just so everyone can see what it's like to be a student during COVID. Okay.
Good deal. Thank you, Kiara. Before we move on, I know that we have a couple more minutes. I would love to hear from other students. I know I just assigned 3 people from the 3 groups, but any other students who would like to have comments, please feel free to share. This is your space. We're just here for your support. On your thoughts on the breakout session, on your discussions.
I guess I'll go. I definitely think Noah kind of touched on this, but like I definitely think not just for students, but for educators, you really have to take an active role in the experience that you're building for yourself and for your students. And that really applies to everything. One of the points that I was making before we kind of got cut off in our breakout rooms was how one of the biggest lessons that I've learned to pretty much make it through anything is that you need understanding and patience. And I've definitely realized that not only in education, but being somebody who wants to be an advocate and wants to be a social justice warrior, whatever you want to call it, things that I'm involved in, things that I'm passionate about, the things that I advocate for, if I did not have patience, especially as a Black man in this current climate, I wouldn't make it. That's just bottom line. And it's definitely, it's definitely a different experience for everybody, but you just have to have patience. And one thing that I've learned is, especially with things that you're passionate about and things that you hope to change and impact in a positive way, if you don't have the patience to actively communicate your thoughts and opinions to people, nobody's gonna hear you. So that's another example of that patience thing. That's another thing that I've learned during this pandemic. But for students, me being a student myself, I would say my biggest piece of advice, the biggest thing that I would hope that everybody takes away from things like this is like, you're not alone. Everybody is going through similar experiences. And I promise you, like, regardless of how unique you think your specific situation is, somebody else is going through it. So reach out. And if you don't know how to reach out, there's always somebody around you that knows something that you might not know. So reach out to somebody, reach out to your friends, your peers, your teachers, whoever, and you'll find those resources, you'll find those opportunities that'll help you get to where you need to be.
Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share before we move to the next portion of our program? I would like to say I had the privilege to jump in and out of each group, and I just want to thank you all for the amazing conversations, the robust discussions, and most importantly, I said this earlier to one of the groups, just the fellowship and bonding. Our spirit here in Impact Day is to keep the lines of communication open, because all of us are needed for the movement. Young, experienced, male, female, all of us are here for the advancement of colored people, for Black people here, especially in this environment in America. So we need to have spaces like this where we can build. Know that someone from Tennessee is enduring the same things as in South Carolina, or people in Texas aren't the only ones that live on this planet. There are people in New York that are doing some things as well. And so it's amazing that all of us are working together. And so I thank you all for the last 45 minutes or so. And we will now move forward. Carrie, you can go ahead and move forward with our next portion of the program.
Perfect. Okay, can I have Dr. Hodge to come back and just so we can like discuss ways students can navigate during this time?
I believe she's probably with her. She's probably taking care of. She's probably taking care of the person that she's caring for. So let's move forward.
I'm back, Matt. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
all right, no problems, because I had nothing to say.
Okay. Could you repeat that for me? I'm sorry. I'm doing like 50 million things.
Yes, ma'am. If you can just like discuss ways students can navigate during this time.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera on in Target, but while nobody's on this aisle, I just want you guys to be encouraged. During this time, I would say each day, find something that you can do for self-care. Me personally, I am working with college students, and I hear all the time about depression, anxiety, stress. And so people are taking care of mothers, fathers, grandfathers, just different things. So what you need to do first, take care of yourself. What does that mean? If you can run, you can go outside and walk. If you can ride a bike, if you have a diffuser, I would say diffuse. If you can, join those organizations right now virtually, so you can have a peer group, a peer support group. You need to be able to socialize with people during this time, because it can't create a sense of loneliness. It can't create a lot of things going on in your mind, but take the time to do something that you enjoy. If you like baking, bake. If you like sewing, you want to learn how to sew, it's a great time for you to take up things to do. Find groups online. Find groups online that are doing online painting. You have to have a coping mechanism, because you're in school, you're focused on academics. That's already enough stress in itself. But find something that you can do that will give you stress relief. That way you can focus on your academics. There is no way you can pass a class and focus if you are at capacity. And so just like I'm helping to take care of someone, but however, I take care of myself first. And it's not being selfish. It's that you have to be able to take care of yourself to deal with it, because as Abram and Noah expressed, you know, online is not their thing. And it wasn't my thing either. And so as a person who's heading an organization for freshman students, I had to find a way to figure out how to keep them engaged. So I meet with them at least bi-weekly virtually. And this past week, we did a virtual escape room. So if you and your friends can get together, do the virtual, look and see if y'all can do the virtual escape room. That was something that we did together, and it was really fun. It gave us something to do for 2 hours to get our minds off of the daily stress that we have. We just have to get creative during this time. And remember to advocate for yourself. Reach out to your professor. Don't be afraid to reach out to the dean of students. Don't be afraid to reach out to the provost and express if your teacher's not responding, your professors are not responding back. We have some professors who may not be able to adjust to online learning, and we have some that are great at online learning. But whatever the case is, make sure that you advocate for yourself. And that's it. Thank you, Kiera.
Thank you, Dr. Hodge. That was amazing.
And I'm sorry, y'all. I really apologize, but I found it a blessing to be here, so I did not want to miss this opportunity. So I'm just here, in and out, but I'm here.
Thank you, Dr. Hodge, for all of your work and everything that you do for our community. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Now we will get Ms. Phillips, Ms. Gabrielle Dean, and Ms. Stokes to give their last words and to also answer the question on how do you think we as students can navigate during COVID?
Hi, everyone. I think it's important for us to unplug from social media at times. I think it can be really overwhelming. I mean, us as a people, we're going through a lot. Everything is, being captured on video. And just seeing some of the things that we have been and we continue to see, and we are also continuing to experience in our everyday lives, can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. So we need to be able to unplug from social media and plug into ourselves, right? That means take a moment where you can just safely, social distance wise, but go for a walk somewhere, right? Be in tune with yourself, check in with yourself, ask yourself, how am I feeling today? And it's okay if that's not a good response, right? But then we're going to kind of take the next step and say, well, what can I do to make sure that this current emotion isn't a lasting emotion? What can I do in this moment? That may be taking some deep breathing, right? Square breathing is one that I love to talk about. You breathe in, you inhale for a 4 count, you hold it, and then you exhale for 6 because you want that exhale to be longer than your inhale, right? So I think it's important for us to know that as a people, we are very resilient. So it's important to know that as difficult as it may be in this moment, what we're experiencing educationally with the new adjustments that we have to make, in our personal lives, in our careers, it's also important to remember that as a resilient people, that this too will pass, right? In the sense that together, as long as we maintain the concept of community, we will get through this. So that means building our supports. There are a lot of free meditation, yoga, mindfulness classes online, so you don't have to pay for it. Eventbrite is a site that offers a lot of community supports for free, so we can take advantage of that. And also we can get creative and create our own spaces. So if there's something that you're interested in, right? Okay, well, I'm going to create my own cohort, gather some friends, some peers together, and make sure that you keep the social connections, because the social connections are the emotional connections, and we all need to support each other.
That was amazing. If Miss Dean, Miss Gabrielle, if you can take it.
Yes, I'm going to piggyback off of what everybody else has said and some of the things that I said in the breakout room. So you guys as students, you guys have been forced into this new world of schooling, and it isn't fair. But at the same time, we have to learn how to adjust and think about the things that we can do and that work for us currently. So number one, knowing who your supports are. So if you need somebody to talk to, maybe you can't talk to your mom, but you have an aunt that you really like to talk to who understands and that you're comfortable talking to. Find somebody in your family, friend, social circle that you're comfortable talking to. May not be about anything personal, but it could be just to shoot the breeze. Also know the things that really get you worked up. So if you know that going on social media, seeing what's going on in the world today with Black people, with politics is really upsetting for you, turn it off. Go outside, go watch the birds. Whatever it is that calms you down and makes you feel good, do that instead of doing something that gets you worked up. And also know that within the school system, if the teacher's if she's not responding to you, then there's somebody else within the school system who will. Find that person, find something or somebody that can be your outlet. Thank you.
Perfect. If I can have Miss Stokes to say a quick word, please.
Yeah, so 2 things, self-care and utilizing your support system. So one, self-care is just so important, right? Because everyone's stuck in front of a computer every day, 5 days a week. So it's important that you take time throughout the course of each day to do something simple for yourself, even if it's something like taking 5 minutes on every hour just to go outside for fresh air, so that you're not stuck in the house in front of a computer or even a cell phone, right? And also utilizing your support system. You don't have to be alone. Oh, so if you don't have family, call a friend. Pick up a phone and call a friend. Talk to a neighbor. Just utilize somebody that is around you, because it's so easy to become depressed in what's going on around us, right? We feel like we're alone, we're isolated, people getting sick and dying. So please, whatever you do, just utilize your support system and take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically and spiritually.
That was beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a wonderful question in a chat from Ms. Patricia Gray. She said, "What can we do in our branches to keep the college students interested in the NAACP on their college campus and/or during the pandemic?" If anyone would like to answer this question, that would be amazing.
Kiara, I actually thought you would be a great person to answer this question, because you were like a junior who reached out to me at UT. And so I kind of knew about the NAACP at UT because of you. So I'm seeing that a lot of like the student organizations, I think that personal connection, that personal reach out is a really big motivator, because a lot of people have like a vested interest to kind of join a community and be vulnerable to like, a new place at college if they like know someone else who's in it, just because there are a lot of options when you get to school, and this would be like normally in person, but like a lot of organizations have tried to go virtually, and I've kind of I say a lot, like 10 plus organizations, like they just like flood you with like information, so you kind of have to think about what's like you can focus on. So I just like three, you have to narrow it down. So having that personal reach out is a good way, but also just having a social media presence. A lot of young, people are on social media when they do, after they take a break from the screen. So just having like an engaging presence, and there's no shame in not knowing how to, post this or what color, anything. Like just learn on YouTube, have different things, and there can be different platforms. Like there's different university platforms, like they have their own groups, and you can just post in those university groups. You go to BSA, and you'd post like your club information there. So they have that online as well. So just reaching out, I think it's been a thing. Like a lot of students have learned how to network and reach out digitally as well as physically. So kind of transitioning, innovatively to having those events virtually is important, right now. But it's definitely necessary.
That was beautiful, Kennedy. I can agree with everything that she just said. Like she said, I am the president for the NAACP chapter at UT Austin, and I can say that the personal connection is definitely major, just because exactly. Just because like with a lot of Black orgs on campus, we're not that big on a PWI campus, so just doing like events that's just fun, just to get to know us, is a whole lot better. But if my friend Brenna, if you want to say something real quick, because what you just said, you hit it spot on.
Oh yeah, I can. Sorry. Yeah, I was just going to mention, because I know at UT, the connection between different Black organizations has been really important, like putting on joint events and kind of like making sure we're working together and making sure all of our event times don't overlap and we're like overwhelming people is a big thing, like to have that cohesion. And I think that was kind of built from kind of a rough situation of having to present to or administration all together on like racial issues on campus. But I think that unity between the Black organizations is really essential. But yeah, and I also said that freshman recruitment is so important because I think that freshmen are really the backbone of all of the organizations, at least in the organization I'm in. I work with Kiara because I'm president of the Black Honor Student Association at UT. And I know that for us, at least, we really just rely on freshmen because we really want to think about the longevity of the org and like making sure it goes on beyond us and like seeing and identifying the leadership who we want to like pass it on to. And so it's so important to like invest in the freshmen and make sure that they're feeling loved and welcome. And like from day one, I think that Black UT really puts a lot of effort into that.
I agree. This actually is a perfect transition into our last question. And it is, what other topics would the students like for us to discuss if we have any other sessions?
I would say a good discussion topic would be pursuing leadership as a Black student, because oftentimes when Black students are pursuing leadership positions, we not only have to deal with the fact that there are difficulties simply with that whole process, but also throw in the fact that there may be prejudices and discrimination. Just maybe doing some type of virtual seminar, just explaining how to navigate leadership as a young Black student.
I retweet that. You hit it right on the dot, Noah. This entire summer, Brenna can speak on what, like, we have been working so hard. We talked to the president of UT, we talked to the provost, and just because like all the Black organizations at UT had came together to make a statement and to say, these are our top 10 demands and we want you guys to fulfill this, because and we didn't have any type of training on that. So we just kind of like went in there blindly. Luckily it worked in our favor with UT and they were open. But however, if we could have just like had just like a little training on exactly what to say, how to say it, how we should present it, who should present, just like the whole deal would definitely helped us too. So I retweet that. You know, like you hit it right on.
Yeah, because I think that especially when we're entering like spaces that are predominantly white, there is, you know, unfortunately there is a different approach that we have to adopt. You know, when we're entering a place where it's mainly Black people, we of course maintain professionalism, but there's not that feeling that, oh, we're going to be undermined simply because we're Black. So there are different traits that you have to exhibit when you're entering a room of white administrators and, you know, white advisors, things like that. So I think, you know, with the seminar, I think some things, since we have pretty much so many professionals and so many, you know, Black adults who've gone through leadership, I think just them providing us with tips and things like that, I think that would be very beneficial.
I'll definitely jump in really quickly on what y'all are saying. Definitely, as it was put in the chat by Tia, lean to your local branches. Your local branches are made up of people like Impact 8 who have gone through what y'all are dealing with now. We're all post-college and we have all gone through those things. Me, myself, personally, I've also been that Black student at a PWI and had to kind of make ourselves known and get what we needed to get done, accomplished. So what we set out to do amongst all the Black students, whether it was Divine Nine, international student organizations, the Association of Caribbean Students, BSA, BSU, all of the NA whatevers, we decided that we're going to run for office in the university-wide positions. We ran for student government. We ran for Supreme Court justices. We ran for RAs. We ran for the student activities committee positions. That way we had a voice in the room. And it got to the point where there was a Black student, if not 2 or 3, on every university-wide committee, every university office that has students involved, because we want to make sure we got our point across as well. So it's those things that you need to definitely band together on. Again, Impact 8 is here for you. We are full of again, graduates, college, we have 2 college professors, a school board member. So we are here for you to support you in any way we can to make sure that you get those things accomplished, especially for those of you at UT. You have 3 of us from Texas in the call, so we are able to help as much as we can. UT is an interesting campus, along with University of Texas at San Marcos. Y'all are right down the street from each other, so definitely reach out to one another, build that network, lean on one another, and remember, it's always a way of handling things. And just know that I was taught this, and I'm going to share it with you. Being Black is a superpower. Because when we walk in a room, we cannot hide. We are known. We change the atmosphere when we walk in the room. So it's up to us to use that superpower for our benefit. During my last 2 years of college, Sam used to have their first woman president, who was also a Caucasian woman, who was an accountant. So she wasn't very student-friendly or user-friendly. She dealt with numbers most of the time. And I was student body vice president, and I had to let her know, hey, the students want to see you, so it's my job to walk you to the courtyard and make sure that they interact. And I don't know if she was more scared of the students or more scared by the big Black guy who was walking beside her, but we got the point across to her. And she was able to do what she needed to do and had a successful term as president because she realized the Black students' voice was there and she listened to them. So definitely take advantage of those things, put things in writing, make sure everything's professional, but that's where the adult branches of the NAACP can help, and also Impact 8 can definitely help with that as well. So just let us know what you need, and we'll be glad to provide that support.
I truly appreciate that. I really do. And I can speak for the students. We appreciate that support as well.
Can I make a statement?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, as a sitting school board member from Montgomery County, Tennessee, I encourage those kids that are in high school, if you don't think that your district is doing as enough for you to make sure that you're getting the education or the utensils that you need to reach out to your local school board and your superintendents and your directors. You'll be surprised how welcome they will be to your asking for that additional support that you need. And if you're in college, I mean, I've worked here in Clarksville with the local Austin Peay State University. I'm not a alumni of Austin Peay, but they have me on their diversity committee. And because I was on the committee, there was one year that I got the president of NAACP also involved, where they could actually go in and sit down and talk to the president of the campus. So there's a lot of things being members of NAACP that you can actually do to make yourself more visible, and also to be of a more help to your fellow students there on the campus. Don't be afraid. Walk with your head up, because be proud that you're a member of the NAACP, because as a member, you get to understand what it is to be able to advocate and to advocate. And when you advocate, and do it with finesse and do it with the right spirit. Don't go in talking that other language. Go in and talk, speak intelligently, and I guarantee you that they'll listen to what you have to say.
Thank you so much for that. That needed to hear that. That was amazing. I really appreciate it. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who put this thing together. This was amazing. Thank you for all the students who came out. And now I am about to pass it to Mr. Romel Johnson so he can end us out and close us out of this amazing event.
All right, so I'm definitely going to read the quote that's on here. You are given this life because you are strong enough to live it. If that ain't saying a mouthful by itself, I don't know what is. You are truly given this life because you're strong enough to live it. So continue to live it to the fullest. Continue to push limits, take risks, be smart. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and all that get understanding is what the Bible says. So let's definitely make sure we are living this life and walking in wisdom as well. All right, so we do want to give you some next steps. COVID is a crazy time, and during this time there's a lot of isolation, a lot of uncertainty. a lot of frustration. We know that child abuse is on the rise. We saw domestic abuse on the rise here in the state of Texas. There's a lot of things going on within this COVID situation. And this is not just COVID. It's spring you to know that there are people who will listen to you. So if you know anyone in distress, anyone that needs counseling, anyone who's even feeling suicidal and they need to talk to someone, we do want to give you the resources of the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. And again, we even have it for the deaf and hearing impaired at 1-800-799-4889. And again, you can even text or talk to 741-741. Please make sure if you need these resources, use these resources, because isolation is definitely something that can play with people's minds. And one thing I will share with you, again, not to sound too super spiritual, but I've learned when God is isolating me, it's not to just keep me away from people. It's to keep me from getting contaminated by certain things as well. So in this isolation time, make sure you are learning what you need to learn, asking God for clarity on those things that you need to look up or even seek out. That way you are keeping your mind busy, as our speakers, as our clinicians have shared. This is the time to be able to reach out. And even though it's not on here, Impact 8 is here for you as well. It's 9 of us, as one of my people in my group shared with us, that it's 9 of us, but we are Impact 8, and that's because we're the 8th cohort of the Next Gen program. Impact stands for Individuals Making Positive Advancements and Changing Tomorrow. And y'all are tomorrow for us. You know, y'all are the ones that are going to be stepping up into leadership. You can do anything. We have learned that. Look who's president. Clearly, you can do anything. So please take advantage of that and know that we're here for you. Reach out to us. I'll share my information in the chat, and anybody else in the Impact 8 who wants to share their information with you can also do so. We're not just telling you that because it sounds good. We're not telling you that because it's cute or it's nice to say. We're telling you this because we're serious. Call us if you need us. If you need a listening ear, if you need that advice, if you need to know, hey, how do I set up this meeting with our university president because situations are going on, which they are. In the last 3 days, a Black student at Stephen F. Austin University had guns pulled out on her by the university police because her white roommate called it a prank on her. So things are really happening in our schools. So we want y'all to know that we're here for you. So again, please know that we're here. We're here for you. We're here for you. We're here for you. And we thank you for being a part. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Rashida.
It would work if I unmute myself, right?
Yes.
Right. Good evening, everyone. And excuse me. Thank you for everything that we've heard just far. So as we begin to close out, I just wanted to highlight a few things for you that are going to come down the pipeline, or things that you should expect. As you know, many of you, before you actually joined, you were asked to fill out a survey, a pre-survey to talk about your expectations and what you expect. On the other end of that, we're going to send an evaluation survey at the conclusion of this event so that you can share with us your thoughts and give us some feedback on things that you thought worked well, things that you think that we can do better, and just, really be open to, we want to hear from you all. We don't want to pigeonhole you. So thank you so much for joining, and you're going to receive that survey. Now, moving along, as we know, this is, to say the least, a pivotal year for us in our country, right? Oftentimes, I know you're hearing the phrase that we are battling for the soul of our nation. And I would say, without going too deep into it, because self-care is important, there has been no truer statement for me in my lifetime. But I do want to throw back to what our clinician, Ms. Phillips, said, that as Black people, we are used to thriving. And even when we're only trying to survive, we typically thrive. So I want you all to be encouraged. But also, faith without works is dead. So as my chairman would say, I go into my spiritual walk too. We are asking, we're demanding, I'm going to say we're demanding that people please, in your families and your communities, that you reach out and have people complete and make sure they complete the 2020 census. With completion of the census, direct resources to your community in terms of your representation, as well well as financial instruments in your community. Also, and let me say this aloud, the final day to complete the census, it had been changed to October 31st. So we don't want any tricks, we want a treat. So please make sure your respective loved ones and you as well, if that be the case, fill out the census. And last but certainly not least, voter registration. Again, this is an important election year, not just in terms of the presidency, but all of you in your respective states and regions know for your assembly members, your congressional seats, all of those things that are in play, please make sure that you check your voter registration, and we have a site there in order to do that, and know that you can vote on or before November 3rd, and take note of the respective ways in which you can vote. I'll leave that information there for 5 seconds, let it breathe. And now I'm going to move to our final slide. Thank you. I can't tell you enough how fortunate and how much gratitude I have for being on this call. To our clinicians, Ms. Phillip, Ms. Dean, Ms. Stokes, awesome for the conversation that I was able to sit in on, and I'm sure others would feel the same. Thank you for lending of your talents. And I want to be, and let me say this, and I want my young people to hear this, because you too, it will come time to pass the torch, and you will find yourself in our respective positions and prayerfully even higher. All of the clinicians on this call did this and provided this service, not because they were getting paid, not because they were told they're going to be on a fancy flyer that's going to go around the nation, but because they care. They lent their talents and their wisdoms to support you all because it mattered to them. And as people of color, and I can just say freely, as Black people, it is about supporting and uplifting community. So I thank them tremendously for giving of their time and their efforts and their space to uplift everyone on this call. I would also like to thank our volunteer support. We had Miss Hodge, I want to give you your flowers, Dr. Hodge, and we also had Miss Kennedy Houston that thought it not robbery to get on tonight's call and to support as well. I also would like to thank all of the adults that were on this call that just came and peeked in just to support because you heard about the event and you joined in and just listened to the young people. And I can already tell like the wheels that are turning. I would also like to thank, of course, the youth for coming on the call. Had you not come to the Zoom meeting, there would be no purpose. We'd be talking amongst ourselves and still trying to figure out what is it that you need. And furthermore, the candid conversations. I learned so much tonight, and I can say, you know, I'm a little bit older than you all, probably like 2 years older. We'll leave it there. But in terms of the youth, just sharing where you are in school about, I'm thinking everyone wants to be social media out, and we're like, no, we want to get together. We want to have that communal space. That blew my mind, and to think about how you're pushing for policy within your respective spaces. And let me just say this to the young adults that said, you know, we don't know how to do it. I understand what it is to not know maybe process and policy, right? Some things you learn as you go ahead, but trust, when you are standing up for any marginalized group, if you are a part of that marginalized group, if you are being an ally to a marginalized group, you are doing the right thing, and God will send the resources and the encouragement to get you to where you're going. I would also like to thank my group, Impact 8, for all of their contributions, all of our thought, brainstorming, putting it together, for people being who they are and showing up and making sure that we push things on the right track to actually have this day. I'm just so encouraged, and I'm thankful. Last, but certainly not least, our MC, Miss Kiara Kabara. You did. You guys can unmute yourself if you want to clap her up. Woo!
All right.
Great job. Great job.
You did an awesome awesome job with being the MC for this evening. And one thing I just want to highlight this. Kiara, of course, she came on board. One of my my team members tapped her. And I would say in order to be an MC of an event, it's not easy because you have to know what it is that you were told you're going to do. And then you have to be flexible for what it is that you need to do. So I want to just shout out Kiara for doing an awesome job and helping to facilitate this discussion and keep the ball rolling. I was in awe watching you, in all honesty. I was like, wow, so sharp and so great. So with that, I would conclude my thank yous. Impact 8. Did I miss anyone by oversight of mine? I've been up since 2:45 this morning, but that's a different story. Did I miss anyone or anything? Okay, I'll take the silence as confirmation that I did not. So that is, again, that's awesome. In terms of our next steps, we're going to be sending out the evaluation survey. And as we said, and I'm going to make sure I do this as well, we're going to drop our information in the chat. So if you would like to contact us at any juncture, please feel free to do so. Also, I'm going to do a little bit of a shameless plug. The next gen, well, some of the next gen cohorts, including Impact 8 and Cohort 7, we're going to be having a vice presidential debate virtual watch party. So those of you that are on this call or in this Zoom, I should say, same thing. We're going to actually send you the invite for that information as well. We look forward to you joining us and then again, learning more about what it is that we seek to do as next gen. If there would be, or if there are no other thoughts or any burning questions, I'll give it a minute so people can unmute themselves if they died. I'm taking some looks at the screens. Okay, so with that, I'm happy to say that.
Rashida.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
Sorry, you was moving fast. You weren't looking at your chat. I just want to say all the youth know that we're going to send you out an email and let you have our contact information of the Impact 8. So Impact 8 members, let's make sure we get that information to Tia ASAP so she can send it out. That way y'all have it in your email and you're not trying to find it within the chat. So you'll have all of our information through that way in those means, because we want you to have our information, because again, we all remember being college students and having that person we can reach out to. And again, I have to shout out Impact 8. You guys, I'm not just saying that because they're just my team. They give me the credit of being the leader, but for the past 6 months, I haven't been leading them because I've been working, dealing with COVID with my girlfriend and dealing with COVID with myself. So they have been leading themselves, and they didn't need a leader from the beginning. It's a cohort full of leaders, but I definitely want to shout them out. They have been awesome throughout this whole process. I couldn't have done any of this without them, and I do mean any of this. So I just want to make sure I call them out by name because, again, as the cohort leader, that's part of my responsibility to recognize those who feel like they don't need recognition, but I know that they need it. So Rashida, Clara, Tia, Miss Haynes, Matt, Corin, Paris, and Miss Rascal, they have been on it since the beginning of our cohort to do the work that we've had to do. So I appreciate you guys for doing this for our youth. Youth, they hands down did this for you and you alone. This is not just for us. It's not for our project. This was meant for you. And I'm excited to see what's coming forward. We're in a 2-year program, so don't think this will be the last that y'all hear from us. You'll be seeing more things coming down the pipeline. So team, again, great job to each of you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you again. Excuse me, my voice is a little out. Thank you again, Romel, for sharing that. And let me check the chat. Okay, great. So with that, we are going to close out in prayer. And I'm going to ask that our illustrious MC lead us in that prayer.
Okay, perfect. If everybody can bow their heads. Lord, I just want to say thank you for being here. In your scripture, you said when 2 or 3 or more come in your presence, you are here with us. And Lord, I just want to say thank you for guiding such an amazing discussion. Thank you for just being here and allowing us to dwell in your presence, Lord. I just want to say thank you for bringing students on here. Thank you for bringing these adults, and that we can all come together as a community. Please, Lord, I just pray that this discussion does not stop here, and that we continue to keep fighting and we continue to keep moving, Lord. In Jesus' name, in your mighty name, I pray. Amen.
Thank y'all so much, Impact 8 and everyone else. Thank y'all so much. This was a transformative experience. So thank y'all.
Bless you, Noah. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace and blessings to you guys.
Yes. Good night, everyone, and we'll be in touch. Again, look out for those emails.